daughter as well. She's doing good down there. She's at a certain point in her visitation. Hair being too high. Minor league, I think. Yeah. She's back on there before. I've never been there. I'm not a tall person. Yeah. And then they've also got the ground operating, right? Really for the manager, like in the power. No offense. That was funny. Yeah, well, I cracked up because I think the rest of those are permanent increases. The concept.
So your firm do billable hours?
Yeah, it's just crazy.
How many guys expect a year?
Absolutely. Well, and then okay, so all the opportunities I do with young kids that they're never going to see the major hours. Yeah. They're still really good. Angie does some amount of hoping they just don't have none of this just the right thing, but they might balk at 30%. Yeah. Permanent increase to the hour. But they're still in the top. But yeah, that's really awesome for them. They're getting more and more teams. Yeah, that's pretty cool to watch.
It is my favorite part.
Yeah.
Play, and it's a race. So
it's just the cost of
money.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get and throw it to the all of and then security.
Right. Yeah.
You know, watch everybody spray and have the whole the crowd
just going nuts. Absolutely. Catching a foul ball.
Yeah.
You don't have that. Yeah. It all works. Yeah. It's all good stuff. And you're no, good. Yeah. But I think the weather has a lot to do with that.
If he's not coming, we might as well get started.
Yeah. Well, so I'm like kind of.
I'm sure
looking at
you guys are closer to working and want to do stuff.
This place gave me
probably not,
and it's
probably not the best.
Hours. And I'm like, just trying to
shall we?
And I'm like, I don't think I.
All right, we'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand as possible.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Seems like a couple months since we've been here, because it's been a couple months since we've been here,
particularly even more.
All right, roll call. Who's here?
Brian Wiseman.
I'm here.
Carl English. I am here. Bob Durrance.
Here.
Terry Peterson.
Here.
Ryan Kubel.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Approval of minutes. Minutes were submitted from the June 4th meeting.
I motion that we approve last month's meeting, June's meeting minutes.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I will second.
We have a second. Any discussion or changes? There being none, Jake.
Right. Brian Wiseman.
Yes.
Carl English. Yes. Bob Durrance.
Yes.
Harry Peterson.
Yes.
All right.
All right. President's message. I'm not going to bore you with me talking. We have had a lot happen since our meeting and a lot of changes, which we're going to be discussing tonight. So we'll just leave it at that. How about our legal mind? Anything for us?
Yes. So, biggest thing that we've been working on is we were circulated prior to last time a potential, or at least an outline, I would call it, agreement with Hudson for a Kiki property for the park. And we've been going sort of back and forth with Attorney McClure for Mr. Hodson. And also Dave has been involved in this as well, just so that because he had some experience with Mr. Hodson and also has worked with McClure specifically on things unrelated to the Hodson property for years. So I had redlined after our last meeting, or about maybe prior to our last meeting, a agreement based on what we would discuss that hit on key problems that we were going to have with regard to that. I've circulated that to board member Durrance today. I assume you got that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we were reading it. That's right. I have additional copies for you guys in the redline version of it. Obviously, this is not a Word document, so if you have any additional things that you have questions about or anything like that, just probably shoot me an email, but at least we get a physical copy of it tonight. part of this is how we present this. My goal in speaking with McClure, and he was on the same page, is that we would give him one that, just for presentation, how you would present something. I'm going to give him a version where we've accepted our redlining to, and the single biggest change is that there is the Historical Society was part of this, was actually a party to the agreement. And that's a little bit difficult for the Parks Department, especially government entity, for you to have like a monitoring agency that's like a third party that steps in. We can just work that directly with Mr. Hodson, and I wanted to make sure that McClure was getting surprised by the fact that we basically prefer to just the trustee, who is Mr. Hodson, directly do this, and then they have in law that the Attorney General would take over with charitable trusts or something like that in the event that there's not a trustee or a successor trustee or that sort of thing in the future. We discussed proposals, even board member Durrance and I discussed things that he could do to still have the involvement of the Kankakee Historical Society. Potentially, that'd be up to him how he wants to ultimately do that, if he wants to use that as a successor trustee or something. So I'm going to give you this, and this is probably read and destroy, but I don't need to have like a version that's like highlighted. I just need probably you guys to look at it, maybe shoot an email, things that we have questions on it.
Do you is Attorney McClure? Does he have a meeting time with John Hodson already set up to go over what we may approve tonight, or are you waiting for potential suggestions from us tonight before he then does that?
Okay. The conversations I've had with Attorney McClure indicate that he, I believe, already has a meeting with him.
Okay.
I mean, I would say don't quote me on that, but he supposedly already has a meeting time with him, and has been in contact with him for various things. He already knows by virtue of me walking him through this what our general objections were. So he wants to receive a document that probably doesn't have the red line on it, just because if you present that to your client, it looks like there's stuff on every page. And as much as possible, we're excited about getting this gift. If I got a document like this, it looks like you're not necessarily excited about the gift, and you are. So this is basically shoring up a couple of things and getting one of the parties basically out.
Do you know if Attorney McClure has started to lay the groundwork in conversation with John the likelihood that we wanted to remove the Kankakee Valley Historical Society as a controlling oversight body?
I've had two conversations with him going over specifically this, and Dave has had two previous conversations with him on the Hodson matter too, and both of them focused on the initial conversation raised Kankakee Historical Society. So McClure has been aware of it. He's on the same page. He understood that was going to be an objection. Now, I don't know how much he's pulled. He wouldn't probably tell me in the discussion. I don't know how much he's pulled him aside and said that that's going to be an issue. And we can have them put back in to some degree too. It's just signing the document along with them, being an intermediary. He wants to identify them as in some form. I can definitely find a way to make sure that I do that in this document. But I would probably do that at the request of McClure, like as to where he wants to put that in what capacity.
Could we potentially settle without undue oversight of the Historical Society over the county body?
Yes, exactly. So ultimately, if we get this in with a format. He did. McClure is very good. His was readable, which lawyers have a problem with occasionally. So what it is it's a gift in the form of a fee determined out of a charitable trust. So we can't really reform that. If we use it for any purpose outside of that, it would basically go back to the person who is the giver. But that's Hodson, that's the trust.
Right.
It's not the historical society. So the way that this was set up is the historical society became a party to this. And then they would be somebody who could monitor whether or not we exceed our uses. They basically have some amount of like audit almost of like coming there. And it wasn't clear to the degree that they would need like approval. Is this something that fits within the scope? Or do they have a contractual right under this to basically sue and say, we are listed here as a party. We're allowed to determine the scope of this. We feel that this is outside of the scope. We want you to join them, or we want the property. It was basically incentivizing to some degree that I'm not saying that anybody would ever do those sorts of things, but there's a high degree of risk that they would, and we would want to avoid that. Ultimately, we don't want to give somebody the benefit of being able to jump in there and secure the property, especially in bad faith. If it ever came down to it, we don't know who the parties are going to be 30 years. So taking him out, having the trusts in there, it's a charitable trust. It's actually on their statutory. The Attorney General looks into it, can like even over the objection of the trust, can say that this is no longer being used for trust purposes. We're going to enjoin this on themselves. They can take care of that, and if there's something that needs to be modified because it doesn't make sense anymore, they can make that determination as to whether or not they would do that if we ever did it properly. So those are kind of our concerns is with that for the and McClure was on the same page with that as far as my conversations with him. If that makes sense. The other thing that we took into consideration is and this is right up front, this is with there's some issues with regard to feasibility study. This also, we need to be careful about whether or not we set ourselves up for it must be Bridge Park or called Bridge Park. I think it's call it Park because it may not be Park under certain circumstances, and so but they wanted to be able to even before or while we're working on this come up with some sort of proof that we would be entitled to receive the property for the purposes of receiving money that was already allocated to us. So this would allow us to include that language too. There's some parcels that we can identify right now. We can even transfer them. We can transfer them as life estates in the deed itself. And we wanted to make sure that we at least address that could. I don't know the amount of proof that any of these entities will require. If they require a deed, I can execute a deed even before this is fully agreed to. So that's what we're looking at. These have been poured through by at least 3 different attorneys. It doesn't mean that you can't look at it and find, this is wrong. I'll tell you, I spent 2 hours on trying to figure out how to change a margin. and I was 90% successful in that. 2 hours is a little bit of exaggeration. I get frustrated way before that.
Scott is going to present to John, work through getting John to a place where we can come to an agreement. He's going to present to him this draft minus all of the red. There's no red line draft being given to John.
John's not going to get a red line draft. If he wants one for his purposes, I'm gonna save this.
Yeah, just to simplify it for him and see where things are marked out. And, yeah,
but so his version is just going to be this without
the red. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's exactly what it would be. So if he gets it and he feels like he has to forward it, there's some amount of like we have felt, and I say we as in myself and Mr. McClure, that there's some amount of like lack of trust because of the past interactions that Hudson has had. If he doesn't want to feel like his attorney is getting he got the draft that shows everything that's different. So we would just create our proposal, and it becomes our proposal.
Right.
Our proposal would not have the red line. So, because basically, we want to give him something that would show this is what we're proposing, this is our proposal. And so it's not a red line version
Right.
of what Mr. McClure did. Now, that basically, I mean, that's not a trick or anything. This has changed enough that I can fully say that it's my proposal or the park department's proposal to Mr. McClure. I think that's important so that you don't get a document that shows 4 pages of.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of things just based on this that I changed Hodson's characterization to stuff that's trust, and we've scrubbed this at 2 references from that. You know, it's I've noticed one additional one that I wanted to make in that I didn't realize that this is still called Bridge Park on the header. So I'm gonna cross that off when I get home. But for the most part, I want to avoid. We can say our intention is Bridge Park, but I don't want to necessarily say that.
Well, taking bridge out of it, I think, is essential because our aim is to make the bridge component part of this. That would be an incredible achievement. But if we're not able to do that for whatever reason, this would be an incredible park on the Kankakee River that would allow us to build a series of trails, run a trail all the way down the Kankakee to Dunce Bridge, bind those together, have the ability to get in and out of the river at both places. It would be an incredible result even without the bridge park component. So removing the name so there's no requirement that if we don't get the bridge park component of this folded in, that it's all or nothing. It doesn't have to be that way at all.
Currently, it's our intent as the educational component of that park is the bridges, and what's on site already would be something we'd be looking at.
Yeah.
But you have to ink it in where it can only be. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Is the bridge park kind of narrows down the scope of what the future may hold.
Yeah. And to update the whole board, you know, we had made a whole lot of progress at the start of June. We had met, gone over the draft, gave that draft to our attorneys. I then met with Indiana Landmarks, reached out. Indiana Landmarks was working with, and they were working with Lake County with the potential of a feasibility study, the potential for that money that's tied to Bridge 2, which is sitting on John's property, coming to us for that feasibility study. And I spoke with the surveyor of Lake County about the potential of Bridge 36, which looks like it's going to come down soon. And suddenly it's in the paper this week. That it is
is it really?
It is going to come down this year before December. So we had a whole lot of momentum, Zoom meetings with the state. There was a lot going on. And then for a couple of months where nothing's happened. And everybody started getting antsy. John was getting antsy, thinking that we were getting cold feet. And I had to convince John, listen, no, we're not getting cold feet. We've lost some momentum. Different people were going on vacation. We didn't have a July meeting. We'll get traction again. Indiana Landmarks got antsy that John was backing out, you know, because there's a little history of.
Oh yeah.
So I said, no, that's not the case. So trying to put everybody at ease. But the challenge is we don't have an indefinite runway. That feasibility study money is not going to be available forever. If we don't secure it soon, then we're going to lose it. Bridge 36, they just finalized the agreement to remove it, and then by contract, it has to be removed by at least started before the end of the year. There's no home for that bridge. If we don't prove with Indiana Landmarks that we're serious about moving forward with the potential bridge park, secure the money for the feasibility study, we're going to lose Bridge 36 to somebody. I don't know who. So getting traction again on all of this is essential to keep all the stakeholders in the game with us as a serious player for the potential of the bridge park for bridges. So I think everybody's going to be happy that we got traction again. We're moving in the right direction, and we can steer everybody our way. But what I did tell John, because John was nervous, John reached out to me a week ago, very nervous about the lack of any movement and he asked me to come down to the property. So happily went down there this week. I'd never seen some of it, so we had a great time. Hour and a half walking the property. Showed me bridge number 2. I'd never seen it. Walked down to where these bridges would potentially go. Saw really most of these, like 160 acres, and put him at ease that we value the bridge park component, but we also, regardless of the bridge park coming to fruition, this being a park, and we're incredibly grateful for his gift and that we have the same vision as he does in turning this into a park for the community, regardless of the bridge park. Because there's a lot to that. There is. I'd love to see it happen, but that's a whole lot of things that have to happen. But if it doesn't happen, we're going to make this park for Porter County and help really create a lasting legacy for John too. So yeah, getting some traction, putting some people at ease this week, and I'm happy.
Is there anything you need from the board as far as legal? Do we need to make a motion to have you continue your excellent work, or do you want to just supposed to go do it?
You know, last time that we had a meeting, you know, I think we moved on being able to go forward with that changes that we were anticipating then, and we're still there yet. So if you want to continue working on this, I think it'd be helpful to move just so that we know that we have continued authority to do that. So just move to continue negotiating the donation agreement. That'd be fine.
Then I make a motion that we continue with this, updating this agreement and continue talking with Mr. Hodson for this property.
For this would reaffirm our commitment to this project.
Absolutely.
In a public way. I think that's a good idea. So we have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second that motion.
We have a second. Any discussion?
Colby, if we see any suggestions that we have as we look through this tonight, send those tonight or tomorrow. Email those to you.
Yeah, send them tonight. It'll probably be in the afternoon that I give it to him, but the earlier the better.
What email would we send it to if we see anything like you just noticed Bridge Park up top? Right? It might be something.
Yeah, even those, I just wanted the second sentence, Kankakee River Bridge Park, and then just leave it as donation agreement for Kankakee Park on that particular one. Most of the time, I actually left in references to. With this was what makes it so I can't make find and replace, so I make it more difficult on myself. But we have a whereas to show the desires, and the desire is still that we have a bridge park, and I'm fine with leaving all that. If he wants to see that, and you don't want to, I'm not making unnecessary changes to this.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. If we saw something that was really, really necessary, who would we email it, or what's your email address?
Cabarkes at CABARKES at btbhlaw.com.
Oh my God.
You have a business card?
You lost me 3 letters. And
You said Hub. Said Hubarkish, and I'm thinking we got the guy from the Cubs down.
You didn't get it either.
Every single one of the ones that you have to use Army, locate Harry. Yeah, I'll do it out. Like Harry, whatever you have to do. But
what's it BT at btbh.com?
So it's CA, which are just my first and middle initial, Barkis at B is in boy, T is in Tom, B is in boy, H is in Harry, law.com.
Okay, and Colby, was that, is it BARKES?
Yes.
ES. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, no, it's often done. Yes. Yeah. We probably should change that.
Well, we appreciate getting this moving forward again.
I'm excited to do it. There is, as we discussed, I have a little bit of personal injury background where, you're as a litigator of some kind, the due date's today, and there's not going to be an extension if you get it done today, and that is a little bit different when you have politics involved, and so the timing of things is very frustrating to me. And Dave might have the better personality for it'll get done when it gets done. That's not me.
All right.
So I will promise you, if you guys give me those back, my goal is then give you some amount of time to look it over. If you see something, I'm gonna go through it just to make sure that I got the bridges in there, that references that I want to have in there. But for the most part, yeah, just shoot me over any kind of additional things where we think this is a big mistake or this isn't clear. There's going to be some amount of lack of clarity with regard to a handful of things, just because we wanted to make it readable or so that it's not looking like it's trying to trick someone.
Thank you.
Anything else in the league?
Not that I have for now. This was a little bit my focus. Thank you. So that is all for the legal report.
All right, thank you very much. All right, let's go into committees.
Do we need to? There was a motion and a second for the continuation of that. Do we need-
Oh yeah, we didn't have a vote. So yeah, go ahead.
Brian Wiseman?
Yep.
Carl English?
Yes.
Bob Durance?
Yes.
Harry Peterson?
Yes.
I want to make sure I got that in the minutes.
Now we're good. Now we can go into committee. Let's start with budget and personnel. You got stuff
Yep.
on in front of it.
So I can, so I can run through that. So we submitted the 2027 budget for next year. There's the letter we sent to the auditor's office with the changes that we're planning to make. I'll run through those first, and then I'll go to the 144s. We took the opportunity to kind of restructure the staff a little bit, or attempt to, anyways. Whether it gets approved is another story. But so we made the following budget adjustment requests in the general fund for next year: an increase in the hourly wages by $20,000. That's what we pay our part-time and our seasonal staff out of, primarily the maintenance staff for that one, and then our year-round naturalists. And then that's also where Karen and Melody come out of, is out of that fund. Building liability and comprehensive insurance, we asked for an increase of $5,000 for next year. Our rates have gone up, so we just simply need money in it. Same thing with the workers' compensation insurance. Our rates have gone up. They changed underwriters this year, so our fees went up this year. So that's why we needed that one. And then for power, we asked for an increase of $18,000 for next year. Again, same thing. NIPSCO raised our rates, so we're paying more across the board each month on that. And on top of that, being part of the staff report, so that our visitation is up quite a bit. So at all the properties, visitation is up quite a bit. Part of that increase in visitation is increase in rental frequency. The silo is rented every weekend from now until next year. So there's no availability in the silo for the rest of the year.
That's great.
Brinky Cross rentals have increased. Camping rentals have increased, which those use electricity, but
Yeah. Use
but so just across the board, to the point we're using the PC building more now as a rental again. Not to mention festivals and events pulling off our utilities in the parking lot. So it's a combination of increasing visitation and rental and event use, and NIPSCO raising rates. So that's why we did that. Water and sewage, same thing. Disposal, same thing. It's simply the cost of doing business at this point to need that extra funds. So those have all been requested for the 27 budget cycle. We do have a request in next time there's a county council meeting to put more money into power and to insurance this year because we're burning through it faster than we'd anticipated. And then in the operating fund, we asked, the only changes we made there were for another $20,000 into hourly wages and another $20,000 into event expenses as we continue to do more beer gardens, more concerts, more large-scale type festivals. It's just going to cost more money to put those on. So that's why we put those on. Same thing with the hourly wages. That's to carry, camp staff, seasonal naturalists, some of the seasonal maintenance. So it's simply to make sure the budget is set, so we don't have to go back to the council mid-year and put another $20,000 into hourly and the operating, $20,000 into power. But that should set everything up for what is the cost of doing business and operating now.
going forward. Any questions on any of those, or any of those not make sense?
Make perfect sense. The cost of doing business.
And on the flip side to that, we took the opportunity to kind of restructure our staffing levels a little bit. So the three main changes that we submitted, the biggest one is asking the county council for a new full-time position, marketing, events, and community engagement coordinator. So that'll be vital especially as we build the major event center. We get South County Park going up. We get another park down south. It's going to be more important that we have a full-time staff member that's coordinating all these events, because right now we're doing it with a part-time staff and pulling full-time staff in to assist as necessary. So that position will become more and more necessary as we go. It's necessary now, but it'll become more and more necessary as we go forward. The other two changes we made, the first one was a position title change. It's really all that one is, with some slight modifications and responsibilities, is combining the program director and the recreation supervisor into one administrative position, the program and recreation supervisor, and then reclassifying the program director's position into a second naturalist. So the reason for doing that is as our programs continue to grow and expand, it's more important to have more field staff as opposed to more admin staff. We were getting to a point where we were very top heavy, more chefs than cooks kind of thing. So that what we'll do is move some of the calendar management, communication management aspects of the program director onto the recreation supervisor's responsibility load and create another full-time naturalist position, or reclassify the one as a full-time naturalist. So that way we've got two people in the field year-round along with the two part-times to put on the field trips, the parks, the schools, to meet the animals, to run camp, and all that stuff. Where it was just getting to be the point where it was not effective having one person try to do most of the field work and then one of them trying to do most of the admin work. It got to be unbalanced at that point.
Is the maintenance repair tech part-time?
So it's full-time, but we split the salary between two funds. So half of it comes out of the general fund, the other half comes out of our operating fund.
Is that what we added last year, and that was the agreement?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we actually pay a little bit more of his salary out of the operating fund. That was how we got his salary up to the same thing as that $59,908 was out of the operating fund.
Is that a fallback position in presenting to the county council for this added position if they resist?
No, so that's already an existing position.
What I meant, I'm sorry, what I meant was in this adding the marketing, events, community engagement coordinator, that's a new position.
That's a completely new position.
So if there's resistance to paying for that, could a fallback position be, hey, listen, we'll fund half of it like we did? Would we have the capacity to do that?
Yeah, so I can kind of jump into the performance numbers. So right now, cash balance wise, we're sitting well over $400,000. I'd anticipate by the end of the year we're probably sitting at $500,000 or better in our operating fund. So it could, if push comes to shove, and I was working with Ryan a little bit on some coming up this budget cycle. Depending on some things might work with WIT and levy and maybe taxation, stuff like that. There'll be some conversations with the council there for some extra funding sources, potential funding sources. But that is part of the bargaining conversation we've got kind of in our back pocket is if you can't fund all of it right now, we'll fund half of it, and would you fund the other half? Because we have the capacity to do so.
We'll start there, but you have the fallback position.
yeah, I'm going to ask them for the whole thing first, and then if it kind of dies on the table, then we can have that discussion to cover half and half. We have the capacity to do that.
Yeah. When do you present this to the council? Is that in October or September?
I think last year was September. The year before that it was October. I have like a pre-budget meeting. They kind of split us all up in the pre-budget council in August 20th. And then I'll know probably after that. They haven't announced when we do the public defenses yet, but I imagine that'll happen in September probably. So that's really it for staff and budget. Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of taking advantage of the opportunity in the budget cycle, kind of restructure a little bit so we can set ourselves up to run more heavily in the field as opposed to in the office. Give us more field capacities.
And there were no red flags that we're saying as far as our current budget where we're going to
No, the
fall short or anything.
the ones that we're watching right now that I'm getting in front of the council whenever they reschedule. Well, it was the July meeting because the July meeting canceled. Whenever they reschedule that one, we were looking to put another some more money into insurance, more money into power, and then doing an appropriation into the hourly in the operating fund of another $20,000. That way we can carry more people into the fall for winter lights setup, trunk or treat, things like that. But those were all things that we're trying to permanently fix on the 27 cycle, so we don't have to do that. But as far as anything that's going to run out or run negative, we're not at risk of anything like that. So overall, budget wise, we're in good shape. It's just some of it's just the money's in the account that I can't spend it on where I'm short in another one. So, but yeah, power and hourly are the for now. So, but we're fine in the hourly, in the general fund, because we'll start cutting hours in September. We'll start reducing staff in September and then start making cuts in October. So that the spending that one slows down a lot next month, in the months after that, and then power is the only one in the general fund that's really iffy. But
All right.
With a 33% increase for our park visitation, we're obviously spending a little more money than normal, but
That's what they want.
a good return on the investment.
Yep. Proof is pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it for budget and personnel then?
yeah, I think so. Unless you want to run through the visitation revenue numbers, or do you want to do that on the staff report?
We'll do that instead.
Okay.
Yeah. Land use, maintenance, Carl, you got anything?
Nothing changed. Nothing any than last time, other than the 700 house is still in process.
Yep.
So fingers crossed that should be in the month of August.
Yep. Yeah, ideally that'll close this month, and then we'll have those funds. I'm working with NIPSCO. NIPSCO's redrawing the engineering and the quote for electric. We've got one well quote back for water, but that includes a 5-inch well and a pump house and a pump and pressure and filter and all that. And then we're waiting on a quote for the road as well. So we should have all that by the time this house sales.
When did the
Sales.
for the well go out? Has there been a deadline that's been surpassed?
So we've had 3 companies come out and look. One didn't want anything to do with it. One hasn't gotten back to us yet, but Rippey Well gave us a quote, so we do have an actual number from Rippey,
And he's local.
Yep, and that was 11,000.
Very good.
Oh, that's not true. Oh, very.
Do we have to acquire 3 bids or seek 3 bids?
We just have to seek 3 bids. If they don't respond to the bid or don't provide one, it just counts as a no bid or no quote. But we did our due diligence in attempting to find the bid itself.
I was hoping we weren't dependent on.
Because we had the same thing with the road. The first company called and we told them we were a government agency. They laughed and hung up. So that counts, but they're not going to give us a quote. But the company that did the amphitheater road is giving us a quote, so we should have that back soon.
Money's money. Why would they laugh?
Probably worked with a government agency. I'm very fast.
Well, we can slow. I suppose. Timing and scheduling.
Oh.
Do we want to move on the well bid tonight and get them lined up, and soon when we close, they can start?
We can, yeah, because Ripley said they can put the well in before the power's out there, and then just tie it in when it's ready.
I suppose so, but if let's say the house sale falls through, can we just put that on hold? Then are we just giving Jake the authority to move forward with Rippey?
Yeah, because I don't have to approve the work anytime soon. We can wait until the check's in our hand.
Not that I believe the house is going to fall through, but until it's done.
Right. Yeah. Until the money's in our hand, yeah, it's always a possibility.
The motion would be to move forward with Rippey after we get
after the funding of the house.
money
Yes.
in our hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone wants to make a motion for that.
I move that we give Jake authority to move forward with the bid from Rippey for the well for the campground, on the contingency that the sale of the 700 house is finalized.
The second we get the money.
I second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Discussion? There being none. Jake?
Brad Weisen,
Yes.
Carl English,
Yes.
Bob Durance,
Yes.
Harry Peterson.
Yes.
Now I have no idea what the road quotes are going to come back at. I don't really have I can guess based on the amphitheater road, but this is a much wider road, parking lot,
Right.
Pulling an old road off, so it's probably not even a remotely close comparison. But I would imagine the electric probably hasn't changed much in 2 years as far as that side. And the 2024 quote came back at 50. Is it 52 or 55,000? I don't know the exact number, but it's one of those two. It'll be 80. I'm hoping close to 60, but
Was that for all the work, Jake? Not
that was for.
into the sites?
So that was just to get power to the box. So that was power coming across the road onto the pole on our side,
Bury it?
underground to a junction box at the parking lot, from the junction box to the meter box, and then energizing the meter box. And then we would have to bring in like an H&T or a Circle R to do the rest of that. NIPSCO won't run it past the box,
Okay.
so we'd have to subcontract the rest of that out.
Cabinets.
Mhm.
Instead of waiting for another month in case it closes this month, we want to give him authorization to move forward with NIPSCO as soon as we have money in hand and get it moving.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion that we allow Jake to take care of the NIPSCO stuff as soon as we get, again, contingent on closing of the house.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Discussion? There being none?
Brad Weisen,
Yes.
Carl English,
Yes.
Bob Durance,
Yes.
Harry Peterson.
Yes.
Anything else under land use?
I actually have a question.
Okay.
Last month or in June, we talked about the quotes that we had from Patrick Construction for the stuff out of Brinka. Is that no longer in run?
So actually, I had a follow up with Doc like an hour ago.
Okay.
Or 2 hours ago. He's supposed to be reaching out to me today or tomorrow. The original contractor that we signed off on.
So he got busy or whatever.
Yeah. So I figure I'll wait to hear back, and then if I don't hear anything next week, then I'll start going.
Then we'll start processing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after a conversation this morning, Doc reached out
Yep.
and said, "Hey, listen, why did you ghost the parks?"
Yeah. That's what happened. So he's supposed to be reaching back out.
Many apologies. We'll give him a call.
So yeah.
I hope so, because
Yeah.
that's where we want to be.
Yeah, because we could just get the start date, and that would be forward.
Great.
So.
That's it.
Anything else?
Nope,
All
that's
right. Let me add to that a little bit. With the capital campaign committee, there's been a lot of meetings, a lot of so on and so forth, and dealing with grants and stuff like that. One of our grant opportunities we couldn't go forward with because of the timeline. Basically, you had to be funded by X date, but then they wanted the doors open in like 6 or 7 months. And that was not possible. It takes a year or better for just the permitting process. So we started talking with Bergman Construction about coming on as part of that. Bob, if you want to talk about that, being that you were there a little more eloquent than I.
Yeah, so our capital campaign committee has been making proposals to potential donors for the last couple of months. And at this point, we have $110,000 committed in donations to the Nature and Event Center. And we have a good number of potential donors in the pipeline. Very positive meetings they're considering what they want to contribute, so that number could increase pretty quickly. So we're excited about that. But one of our meetings was just last week with Bergman Construction about presenting to them what we have in mind and the vision of it, but also whether Bergman Construction would be willing to be a partner in helping bring this vision into a reality as a general contractor, but doing so in a way that would help us stretch our dollars, right? Some potential at cost or in kind work to help us get there, but also their expertise, because there's a whole lot to it. And it was a very positive meeting. They definitely want to be part of the process going forward as we work to finalize the design, right? And then also all the different components that are going to go into making it happen. So what we felt we needed to do was to make a motion to the board to officially choose Berglund Construction as a partner, as a general contractor partner to work with us in moving forward the Nature and Event Center. So I make the motion that we do that very thing.
As part of that also, I had talked to Jake when we lost out on that grant opportunity. Well, we didn't lose out. It'll come through next year, hopefully. But it was that year plus permitting process that we go through. I mean, it's taken us 2 years just to sell the 700 because of permitting issues or whatever you want to call it. Asked Jake, can we start the permitting process now? And he's like, we really need to get good drawings. We need to have all of the finalization so we can even begin that process. I was like, well, that's why we're like, yeah, let's go talk to Berglund. Let's get them on board. And as you mentioned with their expertise, they asked us some pretty poignant questions.
Yeah.
And we're just like, well, what we think is, and so, yeah, I think it's important that we start going through a general contractor and getting the plans drawn up so we can get the permitting done. So the second we are funded, we can stick a shovel in the ground and not have another year and a half or 2 year lull between money and actually showing our benefactors that we're doing something. So that's another, my reasoning behind trying to pick somebody now.
Yeah, because we can do all the bureaucratic work now before we ever buy material. And then, like Brian was saying, as soon as we have the rest of the funding ready to go, or we have the option for funding financing, however that may play out, we could start right away because we'll already have the engineered drawings, the site plan, we'll have the utility tie-in, we'll have the mechanical, we'll have the water, we'll have the sewer, we'll have all the stamps and everything ready to go. So yeah, like Brian said, as soon as we have the money to start the bill, we can start right away. Whereas if we kind of do it the other way, we raise all the money first, then we got to go through and do all the planning and design, and it still may take us 3 months to hammer out the design, depending upon what we want the inside to look
We'll
like.
be a little bit, but we'll be working with professional guys.
And that's where I think bringing on Berglund Construction to help us with that can smooth a lot of that out and get us ahead of the ball on a lot of those things.
And in circles.
So we have a motion. You know what? I'll even second that motion.
There you go.
Great.
Makes it look like I'm doing something.
Any further discussion, questions, concerns from the board? There being none.
Brian Leisen,
Yes.
Carl English,
Yes.
Bob Durrance,
Yes.
Harry Peterson.
Yes.
I will start on that as soon as they get back.
I'll say this as well. I don't see the Park Foundation's not here tonight, but I do think the board in its entirety would love to know the Park Foundation has voted to contribute $50,000 to the Nature and Event Center specifically towards that effort. It was very generous to the Park Foundation. I was going to thank them if they were here tonight. They're not here tonight, but I'm sure they want you to know.
It's awesome.
Fantastic. And I did have a follow-up email with Mr. Sawyer. I'm not sure if you saw it.
So, yeah.
I did reply to him, told him we're going to have a subline on transparency.
Just for this.
Just strictly for our campaign.
No, he is now.
Yeah. That way everybody knows where it's going. So, is there anything else on their land use? I don't think so.
No, other than you guys opened the gate.
Yes,
Bridge.
I made a note.
That's part of your.
Forgot them on. Yes, Hawk Ridge is open, so we've opened another park last month. So that was pretty big. That's pretty.
I'm sure it's a little sloppy out there, right?
It's a little muddy. It's
Gotta let it dry out before ribbon cutting.
you want to wear the highest percentage deep mosquito repellent you can find, or they'll carry you away.
You don't want to feel your skin.
But yeah, it is open, so it's pretty good. We'll get a traffic counter out there because we don't have one yet, but we'll get one out there. But yeah, that was pretty fun. So that's another 164 acres that we've opened up. So,
And we're still in the process of bidding to waterproof Rinka.
Yep.
The building that they built, they put a basement in a swamp. That's
wet.
That's very interesting how that's
Say.
waterproof, but technology.
We've got a quote from the first guy waiting on. We've met a couple more people waiting on numbers back. The first one came out. They gave us two different proposals. One was for 19, one was for 20. I can't find the difference in the two proposals, so I'm gonna have to have that clarified. But they're from the same company. But yeah, so basically what it would entail is enclosing the sump pump, so capping it, and then running it on its own. It'd be a higher horsepower sump pump on its own dedicated breaker with its own line, and sealing the basement floor, the walls, putting a French drain out behind the house, running two lateral drains, God knows how far, to the east and west, and then running two pipes north-south underneath it in hopes of moving the groundwater. Because even when we met with the contractor, the first one that gave us a quote, the water was sitting this far below where it would come out of the top of the sump pump, and even he said there's a good chance that whatever waterproofing you do fails because the water's so hot.
Yeah.
And Mother Nature's gonna do what Mother Nature's gonna do. But we're gonna get some quotes. We're gonna get some other proposals. See what happens. But it's something we're looking at. I'm hesitant to spend that kind of money on it, but it's always something we could look at if we have excess cash or capital at the end of our other major projects. So
It's something to think about. Especially if it's going to start getting used a lot more.
And
maybe
even if it doesn't stop all the water, maybe it stops enough of it to get rid of the musty smell and from issues coming up that way. But yeah, I think it's certainly something we would want to look at. Once we finish up with the campground stuff, we get the shelter built, see what our capital looks like here, see what cash balance looks like, and maybe we take care of that late this year, early next year, kind of thing.
Rinka is up 70%. So
It is visitation's going through the roof. So.
And Rinka was one of our highest ones year over year, especially in the spring. So
yeah.
They've done a lot. Got to give the foundation and their volunteers. They've done a lot.
They have.
So we don't want that investment that they've given into us to go by the wayside.
Gotta be smart with what we do.
Yeah. I think that was it for land use maintenance. Anything with the animals?
Not that I'm aware of. I think we still have some.
They're all in good shape. We've got a chicken that keeps escaping, but other than that, a little turd. They're clipped, can't fly, but he's figured out how high he can jump. So now he's jumping onto the fence and getting out.
Nice.
I'm getting like 3 phone calls a week that one of our chickens is on the tractor playground.
Well, then pretty soon a coyote's gonna have a meal.
So he puts himself away. He always puts himself back before. But we're getting calls on a regular basis.
I guess that's something.
The playground.
The chicken on the cob.
We need to get a video on there, a live stream of our escaping chicken. So, all right, let's go into capital campaign. Bob, want to do update the board on where we're at?
I think
other than what you just did.
Yeah, I think I did. We're still working hard. We got a long list of people, prospective donors to meet with. We're meeting with them. We're having a lot of positive response and raising some money.
Yeah,
it's going well.
Our marketing education while you're talking. Keep going.
Well, I guess marketing one could be is talk to Jake about actually marketing Zona as a park property. Somebody pointed out at the fair at our flyer that indicates our properties.
Zona's
We
not
don't
on
have Zona on there, and I don't know why not. What is it? 100 and how many acres?
I think Zona's 94.
94 acres. We've got a couple mile trail. There's no sign. We don't advertise it as such. Market it as a park property, and I don't know why we haven't. And I feel like we should, especially if somebody generously donated that to us. So we talked about including that in our marketing flyers online, but also putting a branded sign up, just like the rest of our parks. It's just on the road from Hawk Ridge. So if we could put up a similar sign for Zona, then I think that would be an improvement.
Agree.
Yeah, so we'll get one made just like we put on Hawk Ridge, like we've got on Brinka, Sunset, Dunsbridge. We actually just had to pull the one at Dunsbridge off and get it repaired, put back on.
And there's a parking lot and toilet patio Zona, right?
Yep.
Just need a sign.
Just in the sign.
Great. That's it.
All right. What else did we have? I think that was it. What about Harry and Bob on master plan?
We have been stalling for time, I think, relative to the John Hodson property,
Yes.
because it's an enormous component of what our master plan is going to look like. So we're making progress on that, and once we get this finalized, and I have high hopes for that, I really do. That we'll then have the ability to really make an enormous addition to our master plan going.
Yeah, because once we kind of have that finalized, because it's not only part of the master plan itself as a new parcel, as a new park, it's also got to be taken into consideration how we dictate funding and capital priorities and things like that. So it really kind of, like Bob was just saying, we don't know what to prioritize where and how to what extent until we know where we're at with the Hodson property. So.
We did have, after our NERC meeting, we had a really great meeting with Mitch Barlogan about the potential for building a trail between Sunset Hill and Rogers Lakewood, and what it would take to achieve that. NERC would love to be a part of that and prioritize that as one of their projects. It'd be a walking, biking trail, and it would be pretty incredible to connect those two parks and an entrance that went right by the campground to the southern end of Sunset Hill. It was really exciting prospect to consider. It would obviously take some effort to get there, but NERC is all aboard on making that happen, being a part of that.
It's been a priority project for them for a long time. So it's in
north-south corridor.
Yeah, in no undue terms, it is a top priority. And if we submit for funding, we'll get funding basically.
And another segment of what we've always dreamed of, Dunes to Kankakee Trail, north-south corridor.
Yeah.
Obviously, South County Park would be another linchpin in that. If you start segmenting, chunking that off, before you know it, it starts to look like it's going to.
Grant opportunities to take care of stuff.
And a big part of the potential opportunity there with South County coming up, into Rogers Lakewood, into Sunset Hill. We tie Sunset Hill, we go west as opposed to go east towards 49, and we come through Brookdale up to Dogwood in Chesterton and come in that way, and we can keep buying. But
ties into
we can get in the dark there, and we can get foot and bike traffic away from 49, away from those big, highway exits and entrances, and just make it safer.
To put a bridge over Ridge Road, Route 6.
Yeah, we'd have to figure out Route 6 and the toll road.
Yeah,
figure out the toll road.
So who was it that Mitch suggested you speak with?
Mike Jabo. So this is actually a project Mike and I have talked about for a while. So we've already kind of started a lot of the legwork on that because he's the one I've been working with, and we've been talking on the Sunset to Brookdale to Dogwood trying to move portions of it to make it a little more feasible and safe.
We got so many great irons.
So
Could be big and exciting.
That would be fantastic. All right, anybody else on any committee stuff? I think we covered them all pretty thoroughly. So how about the staff? What have you been doing for the last couple months?
alrighty. So we've hit most of this. Reimbursing some camp expenses through the Lake Michigan Coastal Program, so we get about 40 grand of that back. Camp Fun Set's wrapped up, so everyone can breathe a little bit. So
That went well.
it went well. Probably one of our better years since I've been on. We didn't have any negative issues with the parents this year. We managed to cut the spending down on it a little bit this year as well, actually. Angie did a really good job.
Say Angie survived.
Yep. Good. Oh, she's taking this week off to recover. Much deserved. But yeah, camp went really well this year. And then we're going to start planning for next year. So we're going to start revamping field trip curriculum as well and adding like a middle school field trip curriculum to our rotation as well. As far as like big events, I've been in talks with Roxfest. So there is the likelihood that we will be hosting Roxfest at Sunset Hill as opposed to being held at the Portage Mall.
I thought that was such a good idea.
So that'll be huge. That'll be probably the largest event we house at Sunset, especially if it goes to a 3-day event. We blocked off 3 days for it. So that'll be
When does that typically occur?
June 25th to the 27th is the dates we've pulled out.
Was that your idea, Jake?
They approached us.
Did they?
Yep. So they approached us because their growth has gotten so big over the last couple of years with the concert, and the bands they're bringing in,
Not a great spot for it.
like Daughtry and Skillet. And, they've got Simple Plan.
Wow.
They've got big bands that are coming out to this, and it's a 2 or 3 day event. They've simply ran out of space where they were at, so they contacted us, and I'm like, we've got plenty of space.
Because we got an amphitheater. Baby.
That we have.
We've got everything. So we'll likely be hosting that next year.
Hey, Jake, would that involve a potential portion of the revenue?
So the way I'm working it out with them right now is because for me the primary goal there is the visitation and everything there. So upon completion and the settling of everything, they will make a donation to the Parks Department out of the revenues on their end. So that'll be how we do that.
Be a matter of their decision and the level of generosity.
Yeah.
There's $1. Thing.
So, so we will generate some revenue off of it, but it'll be a huge visitation spike for us, and as well as a big marketing thing for us too. So that's really where our.
Is that when we had our concert? The window we had our concert this last.
Yeah, it was in the mid-June. So
Yeah, late June.
So we'd probably move ours to later in the year or earlier in the year, somewhere around in there.
Well, that would give us 2 concerts.
That'd give us 2 concerts. Yeah.
We don't build an amphitheater for 1 concert here.
Right. So that'll be cool if we can we secure that. The budget for 2027 has been submitted. We went through all those numbers. Our metrics through the first half of the year, overall park visitation is up 33%. Sunset Hills alone is up 20%. Brinkus is up 70%. Revenue's up 28% through the first half. Total cash balance has increased 23% year over year for the first half. And in the non-reverting fund, like I said, with especially with how camp was ran this year, the expenses have actually dropped 4%. So, yeah, across the board, the visitation financial performance has been really good this year. And like I said, that's that's the staff. That's not really anything I'm doing. So it's big kudos to them. But we should be set pretty good going into next year with some good reserves. So the big things. Becky's been cranking out some new programs. She's got about 5 or 6 new programs that she's putting out this fall, and 2 of them are several week long classes as well. So they're whole programs. So Becky's really been cranking out the programs. We just finished up the summer, track program, fall cross country's going on now. We've got those meets set up. We're getting ready for trunk or treat as well. And then on maintenance, the big thing is the Hawk Ridge got opened up, and then sent up for the beer garden. Trees and getting quotes, cutting up a lot of trees that have fallen down. And yeah.
We having issues with the electric vehicles at the park at Sunset and Brinka or at Brookdale?
So we're not having issues with electric vehicles, Dale. We're having issues with people driving the pickup trucks back to the pond. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We've chased out more than a few pickup trucks and RTVs. So I'm like, you know what? I'm putting up signs and fencing now. So we put up a bunch of orange reflector sticks that we got right now that we use to so we don't smack the curb when we're plowing. But then we're going to put a split rail across the whole front of that with no motorized vehicles. Yeah, I wish
that's just they're doing it between the railroad tracks and the
ground. Yeah, so the golf carts and the RTVs are going off that trail, and then the pickup trucks are going between the barn and the playground.
Oh,
yeah,
that's awfully nice.
So yeah, I thought that was really considerate.
Just so they don't have to walk.
Just being lazy.
Fishing poles are heavy.
So surprised they haven't got buried because it gets pretty wet back.
I was really hoping I got a phone call that somebody was stuck back there.
Oh, good.
So, but I never did. Chase some out, but I never got a call that we're stuck. So, but yeah, that's why we put those up, and then we're gonna throw fencing on that one.
All the way inside it, fencing. Make your enforcement.
Like what?
All right. Anything else in staff?
No, that's the big stuff. Everything else is busy. It's been a busy couple months.
The most sweet.
Nippa? No Nippa. How about the railroad?
I'll check this. Spaces. Yeah, spaces.
Everybody hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, halfway through the season, it's been real successful. Turnout last couple of years, we were averaging maybe 50, 60 people, every Saturday between the Facebook posts, from the park and out on the sign, at the corner of Meridian and 6. We're averaging well over 100 people, 10, 115, sometimes up near 200.
That's outstanding.
And even on a slow day, a couple weekends ago, we had a slow day and had over 100 people. So, with the concert and the beer garden and the vendor fairs and stuff, the attendance has been up. It's all been very positive. I shouldn't say, you're always going to get somebody out there who isn't satisfied with anything.
Yeah.
But the vast amount of opinions have been very good. So we're just keeping going. Thanks for keeping up on filling up the tank for us, Jake. Because we did get a new one. We had a broken tank. We bought a new one. It's out there. Right now we're gearing up. This weekend is a regular weekend, but August 15th is Thomas Day. Then the next month after that, of course, we're gearing up for manning the NIPA show all 4 days, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then trunk or treat will stay open as long as you folks are. I think you're staying open until 6, right?
Yeah.
Am I?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll stay open the same hours that you have.
Cool.
But other than that, it's been, like I said, a very good season so far, and can't complain. The feedback has been very good. People will come to the park for one of your events, and they come and see us. Then the folks that come and see us, we tell them about all of your events, so it works out pretty well. And that's really about it.
Great.
Thank you very much. How about our artistic photography club?
Well, first of all, I
do want to give thanks. We got our storage cabinet moved. Now the ironic thing is that storage cabinet was in the program center, and the last couple of months we had to be at the program center. So we had to go to the silo to get our stuff. But anyway, we're real thankful for that. I did want to just bring this up. We had an important member of our club that passed away about a month ago by the name of Ron Seaman. And you might be familiar with Ron. He led Indiana Dunes hiking. And he was not only known locally, but he was known pretty much statewide and internationally and so forth because of social media. And people would come doing hikes in the dunes. But the interesting thing is he expanded the thought of the dunes. So some of the Porter County parks, such as Brinker Cross and Sunset Hill, he led hikes in the Porter County parks. And so that was all part of the dunes as far as he was concerned. And he's going to be really missed because he was very active in the community, very active with many organizations, but he was part of our club too, and we're going to miss him. So I did want to mention just about the Hawk Ridge. A couple of our members, I've been encouraging people to go out, see different things. A couple of members went out to see what it was like. The only comment I got back so far was mosquitoes. But anyway, we'll find out some more. But we're continuing to take photos and try to promote the parks, and as things expand, we'll continue to do that. I'll just mention something about our. By the way, this week we had a great picnic. Used the Hickory shelter, and I think it was one of the best picnics we've had as our club. We even had a throwback. Maybe it should be a throw forward game, but we did bozo buckets, and I think it's been a long time since I've seen that or done so that was really fun. But we are doing a lot of things in the community. We have an exhibit at the Art Barn coming up in a few weeks, and so we want to encourage people. We're going to have a reception on the 28th. It's a Friday night from 5 to 7 p.m. So I want to invite everybody to that at the Art Barn. Later this year, we're going to have an exhibit at the Village Gallery at Pines Village, which will be November, December timeframe. This exhibit's from August into early October. So we're doing a lot of things in around the community as well. I guess that's about all I have.
Did you say August 28th, 5 to 9?
5 to 9, August 28th at the Art Barn.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
Outstanding. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. What's right here? Foundation. Here, public comments.
I would like to say thank you. I know you were at the Porter County Fair in the booth. I saw Melanie at the Porter County. So if everybody else did that stuff, thank you for doing that. I'm sure you saw a lot of folks coming through there. So thank you very much for taking the time to do that.
I saw Melanie there too.
Yeah. I saw a picture. I didn't see you proof. Right. She's there.
All right. Any more public comments? There being none, we have a motion for adjournment. All in favor?
Second that.
Aye.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
Give you a credit for
Can I have that? Thank you.
work-related travel.
Yeah, if you've got one, I'll take one. You bet.
Joyce.
They were
Thank you very much.
like everything's
Yeah, welcome back to school.
Thank you.
somebody.
I appreciate it.
That would be so. When I worked my job as a lawyer, I
I didn't.
flowers.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. Worked at Crown Point. They
Busy.
stayed at South Bend.
Busy time of year.
Oh, I know. So many things. So I got, you know,
Oh, you betcha.
every day, like, you know, I don't even know. Check my schedule, recheck. I them all, and you're like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, this is.
Can't be at every